Recording.
And I think, we're not quite right. There we go. Craig got in a little ahead of YouTube. Welcome to the Yang Gang Roundtable, Sunday, March 14th, 2021, episode 175. We got Ariel, Faye, Lucas, and myself here. And, yeah. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. Faye was saying that I should talk about NFTs, non-fungible tokens. I think that's the pronunciation. Fungible. But NFTs let you put a work of digital art on the blockchain, the Ethereum blockchain usually, the same decentralized security ledger, that's what a blockchain is, that powers the Ethereum cryptocurrency network, now powers a series of NFTs, a series of sort of virtual deeds of ownership for digital works like music, like audio files, video files, text files, image files. Any art that you make that is unique can be given a unique cryptocurrency address, and then, without the use of a third party or a bank or anything, if someone reuses your work of art in a way that makes them money, the Ethereum network will send you your share and will not take a cut. It's beautiful. It gives artists more power over their work than they've had in decades, maybe ever. It's amazing. Probably ever, I guess, if you look at it technically. So I want to get into that. I think later today I'm going to put my first NFT up for auction. I'm going to make one of my songs an NFT and put it up for auction. So that'll be fun. That's what I'm going to do after I get off the show. I was just watching a bunch of videos for the show. I discovered a website called Mintbase where you can go to have your work minted. They will take your piece of basic media, your dumb media, and make it into smart media. They will add its Ethereum blockchain address, activate it on the blockchain, and then you can sell that you can take that .wave file that you turned into a .nft file and sell it on the Ethereum blockchain network at one of these auction sites, which is, I can't think of one. I have just started doing this research, so that's cool.
So what do you call this? What did you call this? Is a non-fungible token? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, non-fungible. Think of it as a deed of ownership for a piece of digital media. That's also a smart contract that will give you money if it's used. So if I write a song and then PewDiePie streams it and I have in a smart contract, I get 10%, then I am going to be rich, but PewDiePie won't stream it. But still, it's an actual avenue for opening up funding for artists that hasn't existed. So I'm very, very excited. Plus it's in cryptocurrency.
So how does the Ethereum know when the song is being streamed or something like that? How does?
That's a great question. I don't know.
And then okay. My other question is,
I can take a guess. I can pontificate. So So presumably the same catch measures to identify when a song is being played to catch it for traditional royalties will work, right? So let's say Spotify is playing my song and there's like a code in it, like a digital code embedded that says will be picked up by man. I'm not explaining this well at all. Audio could have a digital signature.
In the same way that it would know.
Right. And I'm thinking this through. I'm like, so I mean, if the digital signature is picked up, then BMI, which is like my performance rights organization, who takes a chunk of whatever they would pay me, would know to pay me. That's the way it is right now. And also, if a radio station is going to play your song, they don't have to use the digital audio signature to automatically do it. I mean, maybe they do these days, but I mean, they used to actually keep a paper log and they would write the song and they would send the log of what they played into the performance rights organizations, and the performance rights organizations would pay for royalties.
So I understand it like this.
Yeah, that's a good question though.
The platform has to actually provide a method for identifying that this particular Ethereum creator. And then
yes.
It would have to request or force the person who is streaming to actually pay you.
Yeah,
Because
that's right.
the platform itself would have to do it. So if it was on
whatever
YouTube or
platform is
Spotify,
making the
one of the
money
big platforms.
would
Okay.
have to pay me, right? So I guess I can put this digital signature in it that lets YouTube or whatever know, oh hey, this is a non-fungible token. We have to pay it this way instead of going through a performance rights organization. That's my educated guess. I have to make sure that's the case.
So it's interesting, very interesting, and definitely like for so many creative people, it would be great. It would be like um, the what do you call it when you do a visual art and you have a little what is it called, the watermark in the back or something
Yeah,
like that?
watermark. It's called a watermark.
You could have a watermark that people can't see,
It is. It's
but
essentially a
and yet
watermark.
still identifies this as yours.
Yep. And that's existed in some form for a long time, but now this new smarter form of it will make this possible.
Yeah, it's funny how, like, as most of our society goes from physical to digital. It's not a pandemic thing. It's been doing that. Ever since we were growing up, and schools have not been teaching young people about, like, just the whole digital world in general. In fact, a lot of teachers that grew up, and it's amazing that millennials get held to the same standards as, like, our parents, but we were not prepared for the same world that existed once they got out of school than once we got out of school. And it's not fair to apply the same standards to us than to our parents, because this stuff did not exist at their age. When they were our age, the digital world was, like, in its infancy. And then when we graduated from, like, college and high school, the digital, like, things changed just exponentially, including making money in the job market and all of that stuff that the schools hardly even touched on. So, yeah.
And Ariel, it's interesting you brought that up, because back in 2008, I think, was the birth of cryptocurrency. And since 2008, it's just exploded since then, like XRP and Tether and other cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
Ethereum.
Yeah, Ethereum's great. I knew Bitcoin was going to be big in 2008 because back then I knew what it was. An alternative to the banks. It was an alternative, it still is. And now people are really realizing that. And when you really understand that, you understand that it's not really a gamble to buy it. It is inevitable that it's going to grow and grow and grow in value. When it does hit a stabilizing point, will be after the banks are toppled. And most businesses are not using banks for most of their transactions. They're doing it in crypto. But that's going to be a long ways off. So there's still a few years where we can become wealthy on crypto. Maybe our only chance. So let's do it. Put all your money into crypto. Don't put it into anything else, ever.
Not even gold, huh?
No, gold is trash. No. Crypto is king.
Yeah. What about what's that stuff in balloons? Is it hydrogen?
Helium? Xenon
helium.
gas?
Hydrogen would explode.
Yeah, that's helium. Is that all? Is that increasingly rare? Right.
Helium is super rare apparently right now, because we used to have. Well, we've already run out. Yeah. And so it's been a situation.
We were fools.
It's too late now to get into
we wasted our helium on children's toys. What did we do? Why?
Well, we just had too much, so it was being sold for super cheap.
We're a dumb race of stupid monkeys.
Wait a second. Now, when I was in Taiwan, I actually took a taxi, and it was like cost me money to take the taxi to the balloon store that was like 30 minutes away or something, and bought a $10 balloon for my son, who was 5 months old or less, maybe 3 months old.
I hope it was Mylar for that kind of price.
Just so he could have a balloon to play with, and it probably cost me over $30.
Oh, Christ.
Which is a large amount in Taiwan.
Oh my God.
In Taiwan, the cost of living is like a third of what it is here, right? Yeah. So it would be like spending $90 to go get my son a balloon.
It's very sweet, but it's excessive.
It was a toy he needed. Okay.
Yes, sure.
At 3 months old, you can remember now.
Did we not have any foresight when we started shoving this into like little plastic bladders, little rubber bladders, and giving it to babies is for fun. Here, this is a precious element. Let's use it up. Let's literally throw it away into the air. Let's just get it out of the atmosphere.
Generations of Americans, right? really needed to have balloons.
That's such a good extended metaphor for like all of America.
So I see that you sent a live stream chat for us. With
it's a mint base, which is where you can turn your digital works into non-fungible tokens. Which I'm gonna go there after the show and get on. I'm gonna turn a song into. I'm gonna start doing like on ShaleRiley.com, like on Wednesdays. I'm gonna start doing a music stream, and then I will sell whatever I make to like the highest bidder out on auction, because it's worth doing, because you can make like a living at it now. Like, you haven't been able to make a living as a musician since the 70s. This is great.
But this sounds like
who
very
knows? I hope
difficult.
this will last. But it does seem very difficult, and I hope it works in practice.
Is it something that is going to be technically very challenging? So let us know afterward. If it was, something where it was pretty easy for you to learn it, or if it was actually quite difficult.
So I guess there are a couple ways to do it. You can do it with software if you can code a little bit, or maybe even if you can't, you can just download something that will do it offline, or you can hold on, man. Or if you go online to a service like Mintbase, they will do it for you if you upload and you fill out all the fields. You just upload like your dumb digital work in whatever file it is, and it becomes a smart digital work, and it becomes an NFT. So I'm probably going to do it that way. I'm probably not going to download software and like try to code it myself, but I might eventually learn to do that. All right, I'm done.
It's interesting that you mentioned gold and Bitcoin and stuff, because like I grew up and my dad was a jeweler, and the only thing I can remember is being bored. Like it's really for women, and I'm like, why is this stuff so expensive? Like, you can't do anything.
It doesn't have non-social value. It has social value is the thing.
Right. It only has social value and not non-social value. So it's funny. And like so if you were on a deserted island and you one guy had all the coconuts and the food, and you had all the gold, it's like,
who cares?
The hell?
Yeah.
Oh, we already talked about this.
Right.
The Midas touch.
Exactly. It's like there's a social contract behind gold that says, okay, we need a scarce item to stand in for value so we can trade our labor and goods with like an equivalent medium. And, gold was it for a while until we moved to fiat currency. But since our fiat currency is backed by our sham economy, people are sort of, our money doesn't represent value very well. So people are starting to use currencies that do, like Ethereum and Bitcoin. So if you don't want to be part of the sham economy, become part of the real economy and use the real economy's currencies.
Yeah, actually, the Bankless talked about this.
That's right.
And that's very important. And it's funny you mentioned helium, because that's one of the reasons the Hindenburg disaster happened, because the United States refused to sell helium to Germany, so they use this hydrogen.
So they used hydrogen. That's very, explosive.
Yeah. But I wonder, like, if we created like hydrogen balloons instead of helium.
Well, they have hydrogen balloons. Yeah. Here's the thing with hydrogen balloons: when they pop, they're like 10 times louder. It's like a gunshot. So not quite as desirable.
Don't give them to children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, could be dangerous. They're like, it's a little more powerful than helium. But you know what? We might just have to start doing a diluted solution of like hydrogen and oxygen, because we did fuck up and we just fucked up and wasted our helium. That's it.
Right. It's funny that you talked about like hydrogen is less desirable because it is more powerful, which I think that sometimes like that can be the story of life. I mean, like, I have enough until I'm satiated, and then it just functions as a scoreboard. Like, the more stuff you have, and that's what pisses me off about some of these billionaire types that just want and just this unending greed. It's like, hey, asshole, buddy, like, you're not gonna even spend all this stuff within your lifetime, just win, and then all that stuff that you can't spend, make people happy, or do a cause. It's just like, if I love helicopters, but I don't need like 15 of them. I need one because it's functional. And because if I had 15, it'll probably be like harder to maintain all of them and to like do all this stuff. It's like I'll have one and then maybe a friend has another one and like we can do, but it's like I don't need 100 because I only need one to fly. It's like god damn it, right?
The
I
law
wanted
of
to actually
diminishing returns.
Right.
I wanted to actually talk about the word fungible, because I think when people hear non-fungible token, that's probably one of the first questions. If you've never heard of this word, you're like, what does that really mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why are they called NFTs?
It's fun to say.
Well, it's actually it's explained in the article that we have linked, that you linked for us. It says that fiat cash is fungible. For example, a $5 bill, you can completely interchangeable with every other $5 bill, or even, five $1 bills or whatever. So they're not unique. And the basis of currency is that, they're interchangeable. But a non-fungible token makes something unique by being a unique identifier rather than being interchangeable with other NFTs. And so it's like putting a limited edition number along with the information about whatever this item is on every single piece of art that you create. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. So I just thought, if you're a listener and you're like, what are they talking about, and you lose track of what's going on if there's words involved that you don't really understand. So I wanted to make sure.
So here's a case for something you can do with a non-fungible token that you couldn't do if you had a traditional piece of art you were selling. Say you have a painting, right? You can write into the initial sale contract that with every resale, the initial artist gets a cut. So every time it's sold, you still get a piece. That's amazing, right?
Wait. Yeah, but let me just talk about like rare and valuable, because I think that sometimes even if something is rare or ultra rare, it's not valuable, because like if there was a person who just vomited once in his entire life, I still don't think that would be like, a rare, like really expensive to buy that, because
no,
it's
rarity
still
is not the only determiner of value. Right, exactly. Scarcity is not the only determiner.
Right, exactly. So rarity is not the
demand.
only
right.
Yeah, demand is really the
right. The demand. It's like he only vomited once in his entire life, but that's still not like
value is highly subjective. There's a food called kasu marsu, which is illegal because it will kill you. It is a rotten wheel of cheese with maggots, with fly eggs in it. Okay, I'm not kidding. This sounds like an insane thing. It's a real thing.
Oh my god!
And they really eat it in some old world countries. I think in Italy, they eat it. Some weirdos, not everybody, but like it's dangerous. The flies could hurt you if they hatch. It's disgusting.
Right.
But because
rare.
it's illegal and hard to get, like the people who want it will pay top dollar for this disgusting, harmful food.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's funny you mention that, because there's also there's this poop that is used in coffee. It was actually in the movie
civet cat
List.
coffee.
You're talking
about
civet coffee?
I mean, they dig the undigested beans out of the feces of the civet cats. Right. They don't actually put the shit in there.
And then rich people drink it. And then exactly.
Right, because it tastes like I don't know.
Right. Wait a minute. There's a lot of feces eating animals out there.
There are.
And we're not one of them.
Right.
But the poop of many animals is not as awful as we.
Yeah,
they're actually quite. I mean, dung beetles actually raise their children off of dung, so
it's not. It depends not like on human, excrement. Yeah.
It's not eating eating human excrement would be extremely disgusting, which is what we think of.
Right, exactly. So that's the thing. It's like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. One man's trash is another man's treasure. All these things apply. So they're not kind of like that. But I will say one thing that I love is that they're actually creating an Ariel the Avalanche NFT. They're going to put it on Leyline. That's
what?
Oh, yeah. That is so cool.
But really? Tell
Ariel,
me more about this. Well, how long have you known this was happening? Why haven't you mentioned it sooner?
No.
This is yesterday.
Everybody.
Okay, what a coincidence.
Refluence knew about it.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
who
Everyone's talking
regularly-
about NFTs because someone just made a lot of money on them. The third
Right,
biggest
yeah.
sale
No,
for
this
work
was-
ever happened.
This was even before they became huge. This was like 3-4 weeks ago, where Jeremy said he's going to make an NFT of all of us who regularly appear in the Q&A, and then I think 3-4 days after that, the NFT news just hit huge. He even said it, and then no, at first I didn't think it was a big deal. I'm like, oh, cool, he's gonna create.
We
a little
should start
picture.
putting our episodes up as NFTs, and then some rich
Right.
weirdo will buy them. We'll share all the money.
Right, yeah, but
That'd be funny.
it's gonna be cool. It's like I'm gonna be an ice elemental or something like that. it's the avalanche. It's gonna be so awesome, and it's gonna be ultra rare, and we're gonna see where this goes.
Cool.
Oh, so awesome.
I like
Not only
it.
that, but you have like fans making fan music for like specifically about you. And I find that just
Right.
amazing.
Should tell that to the
Yeah.
person who said you were buying your viewers.
Yeah, I know. What an asshole.
You can't buy
But
this.
I mean, even if a lot of people do anyway. I don't care. I don't hold it
Yeah.
against them. Do what you got to do, because all the people who have clout, a lot of it, so much clout is just unearned. So much
Mhm.
clout is just that they came from a family, and then that family happened to be famous before, so they were the children, and they didn't earn any of their clout. They just got it by by fiat. It's like they inherited their clout. They inherited their fame.
There's
It's
too
like
much
not just their
inheritance.
fortune.
Too much inheritance.
Right.
Not enough merit.
Exactly. Not only in terms of money, but in terms of like respect too. Like
Yep.
you inherit your respect from your family name. So if your grandfather does something stupid, or especially your father, and they have the same last name as you, it's like thing you think like I mean a lot of
Right.
Nazis had kids that are not Nazis and probably don't like their parents,
and their
but,
fortune was inherited
know.
in U.S. dollars. At the end of the day, it's going to be people are realizing, oh, this currency doesn't represent value, but this one does. The
Right.
people
So
who
that's the thing.
Yeah.
I would like for people to understand better how to actually develop a new currency, because this is what prevents people from getting in. And so when you actually, people are buying into a currency, but that currency, they're like, why am I buying this? Like, for example, good dollars. People are claiming good dollars, and they're on the marketplace saying, well, what good is a good dollar if I can't buy anything with it? I'm spending all this time and energy collecting it right now. I can collect it, but I can't spend it on anything yet. And so every single new currency like this, Ethereum or Bitcoin or whatever, had to go through this period when people are kind of just collecting it, and it doesn't do anything yet, because what really gives it the value is when people demand it.
right.
Right? It doesn't matter how much you have. I have a bazillion of these dollars, but nobody's wanting
It's
to.
funny you
wanting
brought that
them.
up, Faye, because now there's the good markets, and a lot of
Can I-
people are just
Can I finish my thought? I just
Oh,
want
yeah,
to finish my
yeah.
thought. So the thought is that the real reason that once, in order to actually create the demand for something, all you have to do is be a creative person, create something. It could be anything. You knit something, you make food for someone, you create a piece of art, or you create some music that people would like to listen to, and then you demand something for it, right? You don't just trade it for free. So you say, instead of letting you listen to our podcast for free, we just want you to give us $1 good every time you listen. It's nothing, it doesn't mean anything right now, but the more people are actually demanding something, the more value it has. And that's how fiat currency actually works. The US dollar would be worthless, except that the government demands that you must pay them in dollars, right? So if the government did not make that demand of you, then everybody would just move to Bitcoin. you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
if you didn't have to pay your dollars, then what would be the point of them? So that's what creates the value. Go ahead, Ariel. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. No, and especially like if you just say it, because I tend to get excited, but that's fine. So oh yeah, like there's the good market on but it's only a Facebook page, but people are just saying, hey, I'll give you like $10 good if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. So there's that. But here's the funny thing, I actually saw people doing that. I thought I had the idea of it. I'm like, hey, how about if I trade subscribers for good dollars? But people were already doing that on the good market. But then when I put my request in, I'm like, how much do I want to give them? Like 20 good dollars, 25 good dollars, whatever. I just thought of something, but then I didn't see the post up there. It didn't even get approved. So a lot of times, even in a marketplace, like you need access to advertise like these things that you're selling for these currencies, and who controls, who can see what you want to sell or not, makes like a big difference as well. That's why like
That's
when
true. The
people,
admins
yeah,
of that particular group are very powerful right now because they might be the only marketplace. But
right,
if there were more free markets and more ways of peer-to-peer trade, it would make it more valuable. So Ethereum has some benefit in that they don't have to create their own new marketplace, because a lot of these digital items and stuff already have marketplaces in the world. So there's already a YouTube that sells advertisements. There's already ways to get the music out, Spotify. So you don't have to create these new markets. You just use the existing ones.
right, exactly. But yeah, that's the thing. But and so to that jerk that left that comment that I buy my subscribers, like they didn't even let me do that when I wanted to. All of them are organic. Every single 1086. And it's funny, like I kind of check it every day. It goes up and down and up and down, but it's trending upwards. But I I always get a little pinch when I see like 2 subscribers left, and then I get a little happy when I say 2 are still on there. But then like there's a thing where like you reach a critical mass, and then it just snowballs after that. Now those are the people who have it really easy.
Yeah.
It was beginning to snowball when I was covering Yang, but I don't know if you've all noticed. It looks like since Yang has dropped out, the Zach and Matt show stayed the same level of subscribers. Paget, Tom, like all. So dang. But I think like maybe after he's mayor of New York, we get back in business, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I
exciting.
mean, yeah, these types of we occupy a special interest area, but I don't think that our growth has to be limited by whether or not Andrew Yang is doing something. The
Right.
way
For
that
sure.
what happened was everybody moved into a different space by giving themselves a different name, following Andrew's lead. Went to Humanity Forward, or Move Humanity Forward, or Humanity First, or something like that. A lot of HFs, right? And we decided not to do that just because of how we met. And we feel like historically this is a representative of us. So until we
Yeah.
see a need, we're probably just going to stick with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and that's what people know us as. And anyway, we started our whole thing after he dropped out, so there's that, and we still managed
did
to
we?
get like
Isn't that
just
crazy?
I started this in
Yeah.
response to him dropping
We
out. 'Cause
started
I
after.
I
Isn't
knew it
that
would be
crazy?
more difficult to keep the Yang Gang cohesive, so I started this specifically to do that after he dropped out. So I think it's been a
Right,
success.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think I've done what I can.
Yeah.
So we're like the social glue, and I
We
thought
were,
it was really
yeah.
neat.
We were in the sandwich of his dropout in the coronavirus.
Yeah,
We
and a lot of
started,
other
like,
people had the
right
same idea.
there.
A lot of other people
Like,
said we have to come together so we don't fall apart. It's not just me, but I did my part. And a lot of other people
Well,
did
kind
too,
of
and it's
kind of
working.
like the United States, like divided we fall, like we
Right.
had the whole like but I'm pretty sure we're not gonna have a Yang civil war with like the conservative side and the things.
I think Refluence has been
like
trying
the-
to ask a question for so long. He's been holding his hand up.
Really?
That's
Oh
cool.
no, no!
Oh,
I was just,
Oh,
He's been
good.
stretching, I
Okay. I
Ah.
was gonna say
I like to
you don't have
stretch
to hold your
too,
hand up,
but
but if you,
I had
if that's a good
this
way to
is
get our
not a
attention, if you
class.
want to speak.
He can just jump
Yes.
in, and then
I had arms day yesterday.
here's what we can do. Actually, Faye did something like smart. Like sometimes we have this urge to jump in. We can hold on to the thought, and then people can still say like, "Wait, can you let me finish my thought?" Because none of us want to be rude. So
The
like,
problem,
then we
I mean, yeah, I do that too.
that's right.
But the problem is
Yeah.
once you hold on to that thought, you're not listening anymore. And if the topic
Oh.
changes and it's no longer, and I don't mean you specifically, but anyone, I do this myself. That's why I'm able to talk about it.
Right. Yeah.
When the topic changes, sometimes you've held on to that thought so long, it's no longer applicable. And it's like,
Right.
sometimes I'll say it anyway, you'll say it anyway, and it's just like, What do you do?
Right. Yeah. Well, que sera, sera. But
Yeah.
but yeah, like if it's something you really want to get out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like,
I tend to do that a lot because I have a sort of a
The struggle.
idea when we have a special guest, especially. I know that there's a few things that we need to hit by the end of the show, and so if I see half an hour has passed and we have not actually talked about this, I need to actually kind of wrangle everybody and bring it back to the topic at hand because we don't get to get our special guests on, again and again.
Mhm.
So we have to sometimes at least respect that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, have a
But in
list
this case,
100%.
yeah, in this
Yeah.
case, when we're talking about these different types of NFTs and stuff, I feel like this is not something all that new because it's been happening since like maybe 2017, but it still feels very new to people who are not early
Yeah.
adopters, and
And
so
what-
people are really learning things. Yeah.
The reason it's suddenly in the news again is because a few days ago, someone made like the
Mhm.
largest ever sale for artistic work in human history. It was like the third largest ever, and it was someone who sold like their album on the blockchain, and they made like $69 million overnight. And
by the way, the first ever like physical NFT, I think, was that Harambe Cheeto that sold for like $99,000 or
yeah,
something.
that's insane.
Like,
but I mean, like the thing is, this illustrates the
Harambe
disconnection,
Cheeto?
the disconnection of
One
like
Cheeto,
currency
one
from
Cheeto.
the value it represents. Like
Right.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And again, it's not $6.9, not 6.9 million, 69 million for an album.
Yep.
Damn. Some people can just throw it at anything. Let me.
I'm sure this
let me double
DJ worked
check.
hard. I'm sure it's good, but I mean, I'm sure he deserves all. I want everyone to live their best life, but I mean, yeah, let's
Well,
all get 69 million.
I had heard that the top DJs are paid pretty hefty sums for
Oh, he doesn't have to.
single events.
He can just do pro bono work from now on.
I was off
That
by
DJ.
1,000. It was $100,000 one Cheeto for $100,000.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you have to think about these things from the point of view of who's paying for it, right? So if they hire a DJ, this particular DJ, for a single event, it could be pretty hefty sum just for that one time. And so by buying this non-fungible tokened item, the album itself, he can, replay it for himself whenever he wants to without, as long as he's not streaming it to other people. And that's pretty cool. So to own an event like that is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. At a certain event, people just like have all this extra worth just to be like show offs to the world. And it's like they're not purpose driven, they're really like show off driven. And
we're status obsessed great apes is the thing.
So right. I think it's so
well, it could be a show. Could be a showing off, but it could also just be a, let me expend my money and be a good patron. I mean, artists have required patrons to get along throughout the ages to this point. So,
that's true.
They're like,
let me tell you how deep that goes. That kind of that kind of excessive demonstration for status. I mean, you see chimps do it. You see gorillas do it. Literally, you look at them in groups, and one chimp's like, I got the stick, I'm the chimp. It's not different. We haven't changed since then. That's the same shit.
I honestly think Donald Trump is that same chimp. Like,
you are correct.
I got the attention.
Yes.
I got the attention. Look at me, everyone. Look at me do my little pony show, my little song and dance for all of you.
Yeah.
Let me like mentally masturbate.
I know, but the hardening thing is like there's those chimps over there. It's like that one group of chimps, and then like 50 feet away, there's like some other chimps. Like, what are those chimps doing that? and those are the wrong chimps.
What?
Like, not all the chimps are like that. It's the same. It's the same. We're the same.
Self-help industry. The whole self-help. Do you know what like the self-help industry's advertising budget was for an entire year?
What?
Oh, you mentioned this a while ago. It was like billions.
How many? Ballpark estimate. Do you know how many billions?
Like
No,
Three.
tell us.
$11 billion just to like ejaculate right through your
Just get onto
eyeballs.
messaging and coercion. Just useless, useless nothing.
And just to say like, hey, like exercise more, or smile more, and say $11 billion, all for that. And it's all like I watched this video about like Tony Robbins and like toxic masculinity, where like it shows you like he does not talk to the women the same way that he talks to the men. Like it's very disturbing. It's really like he tells the women that they're like being too harsh, and they should know that like all their men just want them to be happy and they have flaws. But then like when one woman said she was suicidal, he was like, are you really meaning that, or are you just doing it because you want like attention from your man, and you know, like it scares him and stuff like that? But then when a man said it, he was like, that took so much courage, like give this man a round of applause. And it's a power dynamic, because who's gonna disagree?
It's really shitty.
Why are we not surprised that he's kind of a jerk? I mean, who's surprised that he's a jerk? Really,
I'm not. But
exactly.
But the power dynamic is that, look, like he has the money, he has the audience. What are you gonna do? Disagree with him to a room full of people who paid for him to talk to them and stuff like that?
You would, Ariel, if you were ever in that room.
I would do. I would. That's for sure. Like, I don't care, because I always go against the grain, but not everybody has the same type of like courage and like attitude that I have, where I'm just ready to get my foot and put it up the ass of anyone who's being a jerk, and I don't care how much money or status or anything that person has. I will talk. Wrong is wrong. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care.
But of course, you wouldn't pay to be in that group. You would never pay to actually go to that group either.
Yeah.
You'd be like, nope, I don't need to throw him any more extra money.
Oh yeah, it's so gross. It's like
we gotta do something about that chip with the stick. We gotta do something about that guy.
All that. It's like all these people are like reverse sugar daddies.
Reverse sugar daddies,
like sugar children.
How does that work?
Like a sugar daddy.
You mean they're pimps?
Right.
They use the women to make money for them.
They're like reverse sugar daddies, is in a way that like the sugar daddy is always paying the whatever, the wife or what have you, but they're like, you're their sugar daddy.
So the women are sugar mommies. But they're the beneficiaries.
But it's funny, like they're benefiting from your money at the same time that they're berating you and making you feel like crap. I mean, it's a sweet deal, but it takes like a real asset.
What are we talking about here?
No,
he's talking about the selling the program to better yourself.
Oh,
is they're getting your money to better yourself while demeaning you. Rather than sugar daddies paying you to demean you, I guess.
Set up a self.
I'm trying to explain.
I'm going to set up a how to better yourself. We should set up a how to better yourself conference and collect like money, and then people will be at the conference and there'll be a chalkboard, and I'll come up to the stage and I'll be like, "Hello, how to better yourself," and then I'll write on the board, "Don't," and I'll leave.
If you look at people,
Ariel,
go ahead. If you look
Ariel,
at people,
you've hit on something that really is what prevents people from accepting and feeling okay with the universal basic income. Is you've hit on that aspect of humans, right?
Yeah.
Where the narrative has been, it's your job to work and get everything yourself, right? And if you accept anything, then, and if you have any sort of help of any kind, doing it, you're doing it wrong.
Irony of ironies, Faye, because what are they doing? They're using your money. They're getting a handout from you to tell you that you don't need a handout.
Yes. But what they're doing is considered work, and everything else isn't.
It's terrible.
Right.
It's terrible.
It's like hypocrisy to the max. And then like, if you ever look up, there's this sociopath, and his name is like Dan Pena. People just pay him like tons of money just to be berated and attacked by him. for like, it's so
Could you get in on that? Because you do like to berate and attack.
right. Well, nobody pays me for it. But
I mean, perhaps we could put you on the blockchain and then they will, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
This is a bespoke beratement by Ariel the Avalanche. Someone paid $2,000 for you to tear them to pieces.
That would be fun.
It's the kind of thing you can accomplish with Ethereum.
I know how you could sell this. I know how you could sell this, Ariel. What you would do is you would say, okay, so you know how, better yourself, right? So you can actually teach people how not to be racist or how not to be a jerk in some way, right? That they've
exactly.
Are your friends telling you that you just don't know, you just don't understand women, or you just don't understand race relations? I'll fix it for you. Listen to my stuff.
That's one way to do it.
Well,
you could also do this. This is my suggestion. You sell sort of like hit contracts. I mean, just verbal. You're gonna like do a verbal teardown on someone for money. Someone will pay you like $2,000. Be like, do a 10-minute piece on Mitch McConnell because I don't like that turtle. And here's $2,000. But you sell that contract and then you do it. But here's the thing, Ariel. You pick the person ahead of time. Be like, I'm gonna do this person. Pick like 5 people and be like, I'll do the winning contract first. And like when the contract is bought, I will do that person. And you know what? Go to Mintbase like right after the show. Don't forget. Don't just say you're going to do it. Really do it, because I'm going to go to Mintbase after the show to mint my music on the blockchain. And you are going to start selling these contracts.
Great idea.
Yes.
That's a really, really good idea, Ariel.
Just don't do it to anyone who does not have legitimate power and is not abusing it. Don't be I know you're not going to be a bully. But don't do that. Just do it to elite people who are abusing their power.
People in the public eye. Yeah, for sure.
Business and political leaders. That's it.
Yeah.
There are people who are masochistic, Ariel, and actually enjoy being yelled at. For example, this is why you get a personal trainer.
Tread at your own.
The personal trainer is going to tell you, you better stay on that treadmill for the next 20 minutes.
Here's the funny thing, though. In like Shia Islam, they have this tradition where, I don't know, it's like some imam died or something like that. And you can see them like in Iran, and they have these like whips, and they're like hitting themselves. For like,
self-flagellation.
Yeah, self-flagellation. Yeah. But I mean, America just does that verbally. America just self-flagellates itself.
It's true, actually.
It's not physical. It's like in America, we celebrate like financial self-flagellation, emotional self-flagellation, being berated and stuff, tough love.
You could put this contract out. Okay, I'm Ariel the Avalanche. This is what I do. I'm an analyst and I'm a person specialist. If you need me to tell you why you're a piece of shit, first you pay me this contract, you buy it. I do a 30-minute interview with you in private. We don't, I film it, but we're not going to publish the interview. Then I do a 10-minute a talking piece on you a little while later, and that goes up online, or you can just have it for yourself if you want.
You know what? These things in the past, I would have said, maybe hold off on these things because it might affect your political future. Because I remember you saying you wanted to run for office. But nowadays, after post-Trump, it's like anything can go. Anything at all.
There's no politics and there's no future.
True. Avalanche for president.
You could be it.
We'll do it together. I'll put trip hop beats behind the terrible things that you say. We'll be a duo.
That'd be cool.
Oh wow! It could become the next. It could become the next big. What was that?
Someone will listen to it. I'm not sure who this is for.
When we did the Jackbox games, that was your favorite game where you would sort of have the rhyming rap battles.
Robots, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This could be the new epic rap battle.
Yeah.
Right. Well, actually, I did those 2 poems on like the education system and the job market.
You could sell those.
I don't know if you. Yeah, I could sell those, and that's
someone might want to own that to make a statement, to make a point.
Yeah, that's the one that CoffeeZilla put up.
Yeah,
and I got pissed off at him because he didn't credit me in his thing. But yeah, and there was,
and he's not sending you anything. He needs to send you some cash when he gets paid.
How much did that
blockchain?
Let me see the views that thing had. that I gave to him, and I'm like, you didn't even put my name in there. And then he said, oh, you don't have 50,000 views yet. And then he put my name in the pinned comment on the first one.
We got a comment in the chat from
Finally.
DRS Metal. Screw the asshole that thumbed down this channel. Thank you. Thank you for defending our honor, sir. or madam. I think it's sir. I think I might know this person. Maybe. It sounds like maybe someone from the Overclock remix days. I don't know. But thank you.
Let me see. Let me look at the comments. Yeah.
Just the
here,
YouTube,
let me like
YouTube
it.
chat.
So okay, now
a chat.
there are 2 likes.
I totally did lose my train of thought. I laughed so hard.
Well, at least we're having fun. Yeah, I see it.
Yes.
Oh wow! Hey, DSRL Metal. I called someone an asshole too.
Mm-hmm.
Because they screwed, they put that notification that said I may be buying subscribers. So coincidence today. But you know what? I like this. I like this because it looks like the tides against the assholes are turning. Because the one biggest criticism I had against the Yang Gang is that, okay, humanity first, but we got to get a little ferocious, you guys. Like, I'm not saying, like, being a jerk, but I'm just saying, like...
What's the difference? We
yeah,
tell ourselves that, but, like,
tenacious.
I think maybe ferocious is always kind of being a jerk when it comes down to it. And maybe it's tempting.
Tenacity.
Maybe it's tenacity.
But, I mean... I know it seems like it'll work, and you're like, if I just keep doing the same mean stuff that makes me mad, it'll work for me. I thought that for a long time, but it never ended up working for me. I hope you get different results, Ariel. I don't know.
What we need to do, what we've got to learn is satyagraha. And that's the word that that Gandhi used to describe the holding on tenaciously to one's own truth in the face of adversity. So even if everybody else does not believe that you are a success, but in your truth, in your mind, you are a success because you have held on to your beliefs, then you're good.
That's a great
right?
Satyagraha.
And continuing to, you don't have to. Yes, that's correct. Satyagraha. So you don't have to be mean to somebody else to hold on to your truth tenaciously. And to continue spreading your truth.
Yeah, that's the thing, and but the thing is that like we can show friendship to our friends, but the ones that are like just downright being jerks to us, we gotta show that like we're not afraid that hey, we have teeth too. But just because like we don't use them in a while doesn't mean that we can't eventually bite and fight back. It's kind of like the thing, because the thing is that like a lot of people, they like a leader, but then when the leader shows that they're not like fighting back against the people that are attacking them, then like they kind of lose faith in that leader. But at the same time, like don't just attack for the sake of attacking and never getting on thing like do the attack, but it's like then come to an agreement and find out what the misinterpretations are, so you can kind of like find that, like maybe you both like chocolate ice cream but you disagree on a big political issue, so kind of find that low point of like like a cool temperature, and then get into the disagreement from there. So it's kind of like, okay, now we can like, now the tension is off. But but if you start it and you hit first, I'm gonna like rip you to shreds. Like I don't care, And then after you're shredded, I'll kind of be like, okay, now what was the problem? Hey, that's just me.
So that was wrong for CoffeeZilla to use your stuff, I think, and then not help, not even give it credit. That's terrible.
Right.
But they did represent that it came from somebody else, but they didn't, give your full name and stuff.
Well, he said it was because like, well, first of all, it was very rude. He said like, you can't handle this. This is too cringe. Don't watch this entire video. And then I'm like, why the hell would you call it that? And then like 80%.
Oh well, it's a clickbait type of
right, it's clickbait,
title.
exactly.
You can't necessarily get mad about that.
Right,
It'll get you more views that way.
So 80% of the people in the comments said that it was actually pretty good. And then I responded to every single one of them, and I said, "Yo, that was me." So at least there. And then in the other interview that I did about this scam that I got involved with a long time ago, they kept on interrupting me, and I'm like, "What the hell?" Like I didn't tell them. I didn't appreciate that you kept interrupting me. I just said, "Oh well, I guess if I want to have an interview, I should just take, being interrupted." But then they got like thousands of comments that were like, "Why the hell did you keep interrupting him so much?" And then I responded to every single one of those, and I'm like, "Hey, thanks. Hey, thanks." And then they saw that, and they're like, "Who does he think he is?"
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know there was additional replies to that. I wanted to let you know that I thought it was a good idea that you put your name and actually answered back to people who were commenting. I mean, I'm sure they were excited to know that you were actually there to talk to them.
Right, for sure.
But anyway,
but you know what the funny thing was? The guy who kept interrupting me was the same guy who we had on here.
Oh, really?
Remember?
Wow.
The one that I invited, Amish, the Indian guy. You remember him?
That's too bad. That's
he
too
does
bad.
he does it with CoffeeZilla. So but I guess people are just different when it comes to like tons of people watching them than they are with like a small little group, because they have to keep these people entertained, but at the same time you don't keep them entertained by like interrupting your guest every 1 minute.
You have to know what your audience is there for. What are they there for?
Yeah.
Right?
No, but they thought that the audience would have fun with that, but the audience truly did say, "Stop interrupting this guy so much."
They did not like
just
that.
Stop. You're being annoying, and I'm like, and then I went into the comments, and I'm like, and then when they got frustrated, I just responded to the comments with one of those carrots that point upwards.
Oh, all right, I'm getting the picture.
Right, exactly.
So who do you think is not ferocious enough?
Ferocious.
Yeah, Yang.
We're back to that word again, huh?
I know, that's why I kind of investigate this idea, right? I hear what you're saying. I think the determining factor in like who wins a political debate is actually rarely ferocity.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think that's
Trump
what really
was ferocious
wins.
as hell.
But he won because the establishment was selling the personal responsibility narrative to people who knew they'd been duped, they'd been bamboozled, people like us.
Right.
We know we're doing good things in good faith, and we're smart and capable, and we're still getting fucked by the system. We're still losing out. We're still oppressed and poor. So the establishment is selling this idea of, it's like, just go to school. You didn't go to enough school. You didn't do the right jobs. The same line of bullshit. And Trump's like,
can go fuck
no,
themselves.
It's them. They're lying to you. And he's a terrible person in all other regards, but he has this one valuable truth that resonates with people. His ferocity, I think, is one of the reasons he couldn't get reelected. I think it is actually an albatross.
Really?
It let them say, it let MSNBC turn him into Hitler. If he had been soft-spoken, he'd still be president, even though he made all these bad decisions about the pandemic.
He took it too far. He really did take it too far. I'm not saying like that. Like, you punch him, he like takes a dump on you. So I mean, there's that, but like he didn't know when to stop. I said I'll get ferocious too, but then there's a thing where I'll cool down a little bit and I'll try to see where the misunderstandings are. I just want to keep I just want to keep keeping up a show. If I were Trump, I would just say like, okay, like CNN or something, I'm going to talk about where you guys are, lying about me or bullshitting on me and stuff like that. But instead, like he just created an echo chamber and he just amplified everything inside of that echo chamber, where you don't do that. Go on CNN, go on MSNBC and just say like, hey, like, but we're not allowed to interrupt each other. And we're allowed to finish each other's thoughts and sentences and stuff like that. I really think that that's what's missing.
I don't understand the last part of what you said, but Ariel, the thing that you hit on was, that all this personal responsibility narrative is really toxic because people stop thinking about the systemic changes that we need to actually make our society work. So there's different levels at which govern. And if you're an individual,
Yes.
of course, all you can control is yourself. Yes, that's obviously true. But then if you want to actually make certain types of changes, you've got to work at a political level. You've got to go to your city to work on city issues. You've got to go to the national to work on national issues. And if you want to affect the money, eventually it has to reach the national level where it's created. And so we have to actually look at legislation and not, when you're doing that, you can't just go back to the people and say, you're all doing, every single person is going to fix the money by doing it.
Oh, you cut out.
By doing it a different way. I cut
doing
out
it a
because
different
Zephyr was just making noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I cut out for a moment. So anyway, like you can say every single person has to make these personal changes and then they will all become perfect people. That is true. That is true. But what are the chances of that? Statistically speaking, that is not going to happen.
That's not a solution.
Well, no,
We have to work on, when you work on things at a higher level, you've got to work on a statistical probability that people are going to behave in this manner.
We keep
you can't expect every single person to be perfect.
We keep getting people elected to be stewards of maintaining a system that needs constant updating. And every year they go,
and they don't.
We looked at it. Yeah. The system's fine. The problem is the people who voted for us.
well, the thing is that, look, like, if you can be a perfect person, but if you're trying to jam like a Nintendo cartridge into a PlayStation, doesn't matter how perfect you are, that's never gonna work.
Right. That's right.
Like, the system's not updated. If you're a healthy person living in a sick society, the society is gonna make you sick no matter how healthy you are, right?
Statistically speaking, the people are getting broken at a much higher rate in your society because you've made a society that is stressful to live in. And that is unhealthy for you. And that is going to, take away the time that you could be spending on something else that is more productive.
Look,
so every time the government takes up your time and energy because they made another form for you to fill out that takes away an extra hour of your day, that is a huge effect over, 300 million people we have. 300 million people just had to spend an extra hour of their time doing something that was completely useless.
Productivity is that,
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. So you let me just tell you, like, I was the perfect, I had troubles as a student, but I started getting like very good grades and doing very well in school, graduating with honors out of like college, and ending up with a retail job. So what does that say? Is that me? No, it's that these systems are stupid. And even at my retail job, I even had one lady in there saying, like, Ariel, you're so like intelligent and like articulate. What the hell are you doing here? Shouldn't you be somewhere else? And I'm like, yeah, but those somewhere else's don't give you money for your intelligence and articulateness. And even and after the season was over, I was let go because I can't will customers into existence at the store. They said, "Oh, it's not you. It's the customer traffic." And he even my manager, he even said this. There're just not enough cars on the road right now. So is that my responsibility to create traffic in your store, or to be a good employee? You know what I mean? So
it's kind of partly the traffic will be influenced somewhat. Very small amount of influence will be because somebody really liked you personally and that you gave him great service at the store. But for the most part, it's going to be controlled. It's going to be controlled by things that, people actually need and about their finances, things that are outside of the employee's control. So your effect on the foot traffic can't be very high. It can only, it's very limited in scope.
Right. And but yet, like then people will say, like, oh, like, somehow it was your fault that, like you willed that into existence of like you not keeping that job. Like Tony Robbins would probably say something like that. Like if I went to one of his seminars and I talked about like not being kept on, he would be like, "Oh, it's because you didn't like believe in yourself enough and like blah blah blah." And then I tell him to go fuck himself. But then like, like like that like what you said, Faye. That's that personal responsibility stuff that doesn't match up. Now, if everybody had the UBI, which I was like yanking almost everyone at that Best Buy, and they came in with that, I think like it would take the stress and the pressure off. Maybe buy that video game, buy that computer you want, buy that because you're not under the stress. But it's either that or I either don't care about their financial situation and I just keep cramming it into their heads, buy it, even though it like going on progressive leasing and paying like a 12% interest rate when you're like financing everything else in your house. I'm hurting you more, but I'm helping myself. And sometimes you just got to let go of your conscience in some of these jobs. And a lot of people who let go of their conscience are the ones who succeed and thrive. And we're seeing it. We're seeing that, Yeah.
Well, capitalism is not for the is not for everyone.
Right.
And apparently it's not easy to succeed when in capitalism sometimes if you are a very nice person.
Right, exactly. That's
because
why
what we consider nice doesn't align well with the goals of capitalism.
Right. Nice is not cutthroat. Cutthroat is cutthroat and nice is nice. And it's it's pretty gross, but yeah, it's
so the way I
humanity.
think of UBI and other sort of legislative sort of things that we talk about here, such as the different types of voting systems and things like that. The reason that I think of it I think of it as like sort of maintaining the ecosystem that, and so there's two different types of intelligence. There's the basic intelligence of fixing yourself when you're doing something a little bit that you could improve on. Yes, you can always be improving on yourself. But then there's the other intelligence that's let me mold the environment to a way that it will make sense for me to be able to live here, and it improves my life and improves the life of everybody around me. And that's what we need to be doing, is we need to focus outward and start thinking about how the entire country can actually be doing better if we just put a little more thought into how to maintain, the environment around us.
Okay. And that's the thing where let's just say like the people who create our monetary policy are like the crazy uncle in Thanksgiving who's just like like a lunatic, and there's one person who wants to confront him and say like, hey, like stop this stupid behavior, but then the rest of the family is putting their finger in front of their nose and being like, shh, you know how he is. So it's like he's creating all this like awkwardness and pain and annoyance for everyone, but everyone just like has so much respect for him for being like older that they take all that like pain and hurt and shit like that on themselves. And the one person who wants to confront the person who's creating this shit is the one that's told to like shut up and be quiet and not say anything.
Ariel, you spend too much time on these extended metaphors. We get it. I get it.
Right.
It's the same thing over and over. It's repetitious. It's a problem.
Right.
Please don't like take us away from a topic to do another extended metaphor. I mean, I get it. You're clever with language, but it's like we have to grow as a show, and that is not good content. I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
Okay, maybe we should cut that out in the podcast.
No.
Okay, let's keep our discussions about how to in the business later.
How to what?
Let's do our how to podcast stuff in the business later.
No
put
edits. That stays.
No edits, huh?
It's the reality.
We need to schedule a time when we can just talk about how to podcast just for us.
It's fine.
There's so much that we have chosen to do differently because we all live in poverty, and so we recognize that there are a lot of people's voices that don't get heard because of many things out of their control. It could be that they experience some sort of anxiety, or they have some sort of difference that is from, brain chemistry difference from either the life that they're living now or childhood, just born a different way. We recognize that people don't have money to buy, right? And so they can never, ever do a podcast because society would say, you're just not doing it well enough. You just don't have what it takes, and so nobody's going to listen to you. But at our podcast, we made a lot of decisions early on to actually listen to people and to give them a platform, to have, technical support from somebody who understands, make sound good, and so on and so forth. But maybe sometime we need to start moving forward and actually make some changes so that we can get the voices heard by more people. So this is something that we're an evolving team. We'll talk about it some more, I think, in our own business time. We should definitely schedule a business chat for this when we can socialize and actually talk about the, how to podcast. So meta talking.
Yeah.
All right.
Because they all make it seem so easy when you're when you're young and you just look at like cartoons and like TV shows, and it's like and not see like all the trouble that went into creating this 30-minute of entertainment with like 10 commercial breaks in the middle of it. you
understand.
always see the finished product.
The original Disney movies, when they went to make them, it was thousands upon thousands of drawings that were individually made by hand and put together. I mean, the type of things sometimes and if you're making a video.
Man. You said sometimes and then
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sometimes like if you're making a video that is really well produced, sometimes you shoot it, that you shoot the same scene over and over and over, 10 minutes out of an entire day of production. So of shooting. So it does take a lot of energy, but in live streaming, when we went to that, it became a whole right. When we were just doing a podcast that was going to be produced in the background, that's a different creature than when we suddenly moved into live stream space. So
this is much better. Nobody listens to old school podcasts. The live stream audience is much bigger, is much more involved. It's more exciting to live stream.
It's more interesting.
Yeah, right. It's current. It's just a more interesting medium. I mean, but we still do the podcast because I want to get this out to as many people as possible.
We can Thrive stream pretty soon.
What does that mean?
That would be like, just getting
What's
tons
a Thrive
of people, getting tons of people to engage with us as we talk.
Thrive stream. You're mad, man.
Right.
I like the new words.
I love it.
But these are all different creatures. Like, people, like my mom said, I wanted to open a bookstore. And my mom was like, no way. Bookstores are dead, right? There are no more bookstores.
That's true.
Amazon has taken it over, the end. But it's not true. The problem is there are certain things that because of the bookstore being dead, you can no longer do. Yeah. So there are bookstores, for example, that need to specialize in. I needed to specialize in. I was a language teacher, right? And I need to have books for different languages that are tailored specifically to the kids that I'm teaching or the adults, because at every stage you have a different need, right? And it's very hard to do that by looking at an internet book and trying to figure out, is this one going to be appropriate for my students? So there's like all sorts of interesting things that I think if you do well, it's still useful. So I don't think books are dead. I don't think radio is completely dead. There's always stuff that is useful in that particular medium. And I think we can have to hit on the things that
it's not just the medium of the book, but the medium of the retail space that is dead. So it's like a double whammy.
Well, the retail space shouldn't be dead for children's books, for example, or for any sort of teaching. So there's certain types of things that need to continue existing, but because of the current ecology, it's not happening.
I still like walking into a Barnes and Noble from time to time, And,
people love it.
Like, just sitting there and just the ambience of not like, hustly bustle stuff, but just like, the comments. And I just want to like lower the mood. This is hilarious. IRS payment status. We sent out the checks to all the ugly people first. So if you have not received yours yet, good morning, beautiful.
Oh, so mean.
It's interesting.
When we have a UBI, we can like lighten the mood like that. Everybody's kind of like, oh, I've got mine, and I don't have mine yet. But then everybody knows it's like coming to them, because sometimes when like you get yours sent later than other people, it's like, hey, but I know I'm worth it in the end, so it still feels good. Like, yeah, I know everybody get later early, but it's funny, and that's the beautiful thing. Like when I opened up Twitter, so little toxicity when I opened up and everybody was talking about like their direct deposits and stuff. Like all the toxicity just kind of melted, and that's the beauty of it. Like we can trust each other again, we can have fun with each other again, we can like joke around and not I don't know, like all the stress and the frustration just kind of melts a little, if only for that moment. And it's
Are you
beautiful.
ready to say something, Lucas? You sat up.
Oh yeah, I was saying like I love Barnes and Nobles because of all the different books and magazines there.
You still have a Barnes and Noble? Where are you again? I forget now.
Yeah, in Connecticut, there's one of them, Route 1 in Milford, about like 20 minutes from the house.
They figured out that, in the wealthy suburbs, people love bookstores and libraries.
Apparently.
And they just continue to do very well there.
It's like
they
people
sell
still like vinyl
toys
records
for children.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, people need a place to take their children. And the thing is, capitalism, the way that we imagine, doesn't actually preserve the things that people. And oftentimes, right as something gets to the acme of development, it gets thrown away. Like,
what if we took
DVDs were doing great
to each other's houses and then just cut out the business entirely?
That wouldn't work. The thing is, people don't want your kid at their house.
What if nobody had to go to their job, and then if you wanted to have a play date,
my house.
Well,
why not?
Unless you're Persian.
Why? Well, that's the problem. Let's work on that. I think, right?
Well,
why don't you want your neighbor's kid over? Why are you so stuck up? That's the problem.
It's
not you. I mean, like
the
generalized other.
Track of things, right?
Yeah, the generalized other. It's because you have to keep track of things.
No, it creates work for me, right?
Okay.
So if you come to my house, I have to before and after you're there.
Well, if you don't have a job,
and it's a lot of extra work,
then you should do that work.
But if you
that's why you're getting the UBI.
But if you go somewhere else, the children are happy, and then when you come home, things are still neat.
No, that's true. That's true. That's like how I don't like to cook because I like to cook, but I don't like to clean up after. So that's the deterrent to cooking for me because I don't want to clean.
Living with my grandparents, like every single Friday, the entire family would come over. Every single Friday, it got insane, and like loud noises, loud people, loud screams and stuff. Oh my god!
Yes, I mean some people just don't have a home that's appropriate for having a lot of people over. So right now I live in poverty, right? And I've had a lot of children over at the same time. I had 7 children
my
Faye,
I did not mean to put you on blast.
At the same time. No, it's okay. This is a fun topic for me. Yeah. So when the 7 kids came over with no parents, it was very difficult to supervise them, and nobody's paying me for this. So it's not easy to do. And then afterwards, I'm like, the house is like a tornado. So none of the kids clean up because when the parents call them to go home, they're like, oh, gotta go now or else we're going to get in trouble. Right.
Yeah.
So it's 1 second later, they've all left. And now you're like, okay, son, I know you like having friends over, so you are cleaning it all up by yourself. The entire thing. So we'll see how that works out. That does not work out so well because it takes hours, right? Yeah. It takes hours to put things back.
As much as I dislike cleaning as an adult, I was even more adamant about it as a child.
Just vacuumed up my place. Looks pretty good.
So
Yeah,
Zephyr wants to know, are we just hanging out? So perhaps I should get going because he wants to have his space
Okay.
back.
That's
Maybe
fair.
Oh,
It's
sure.
we should
3:30.
get back together next week and just
Sure.
do a little
Should we
shorter,
call it
shorter
here?
stream thing.
Yeah, we'll call
Yeah,
it here.
the
We'll do the
birthday party.
outros. We can keep hanging out offline. I'll cut
Oh,
the stream
yeah.
off in a second. What's up?
Wait. Lucas wants to tell us about a social stream. Is that
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
No, don't forget about your son's friend's birthday party.
Oh, yes, you're right. That was the next thing I have to do is I have to take him to a birthday
Yeah.
party. You know, he'll get on
Right.
the computer and I'll go relax and the whole time will pass.
Thank you for reminding Faye. Okay, let's take it home.
Should we do our let's do our outros?
Yeah,
So I'm
okay.
Faye Koo, and you can find me on Twitter at Palestine Math. Zephyr's asking and asking. Very soon, Zephyr. So you have to be quiet now so we can finish. Zephyr, if you don't let me say goodbye, we'll be here a long time. Okay, I'm trying to say goodbye right now. Okay, so goodbye everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to our
Bye, Faye. Thank you.
wonderful stream
Bye,
today.
Zephyr. Have fun.
Goodbye.
Bye, Zephyr. All right. So we do our outros?
Yeah,
Okay.
do your quick sign-offs. Yeah.
Okay, so you can find me on Twitter at Ariel's Ariels, and you can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/revolutionaries.
Thank you, Lucas.
You can find me at LucasGabriel86 on Instagram because that's what I use the most.
And you having an open social hangout tonight, or is that just like a private thing? Or?
Zoom. No, it's social. It's on Zoom. It's a Click movie with Adam Sandler. If anyone wants to come on here, they can even come.
Say it again.
Wait, what on it with Adam Sandler?
What is it?
We're watching the movie Click from 2000.
Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Okay.
Wow, that brings back.
So-
I remember that part where he's like, "What is this Animal Planet?"
Yeah,
Showing with it. That was a favorite.
So if you want to watch a movie with Lucas,
Yeah.
maybe some of us, then hit me up on my Twitter, and I'll give you an invite to our Discord, and from there you'll get the invite to Lucas's thing. My name is Shale Riley. My Twitter is ShaelRiley. Shale Riley is my Twitter. Listen, go to my Twitter, Shale Riley. I'm going to start selling non-fungible tokens there. I'm going to link to all the non-fungible tokenized audio that I create on my Twitter. Go there. Shale Riley is my Twitter. ShaelRiley. Non-fungible token king, Shale Riley. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for speaking. We love you, and we appreciate your time and energy. So see you next time.